everyone, and welcome to the ClickFunnels Brick and Mortar Summit. My name is Bailey Richard, and right now I'm delighted to bring you a presentation with Joe McCall. Joe has been investing in real estate for over 11 years in many different markets around the country. He also teaches and coaches people from all over the world to buy and sell real estate in the United States. So let's go see what Joe has to share with us today.
Thank you, Bailey. And thank you, ClickFunnels. I love me some ClickFunnels. I've been a huge fan of ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson. We've become friends over the years as well. And I'm a unabashed, proud ClickFunnels fanboy. Man, I love the business. I love what they stand for. I love the product. I love the software. I love the networking and the people that I've met and the people in the business that, don't just care about making money, but they care about helping people. They care about doing the right thing. And so I was one of the first, I'm proud to say this, I'm one of the first people that signed up for ClickFunnels back when it was incredibly buggy and it wasn't working that well. But I knew, I could see it in Russell's eyes. I could hear it in his voice with this passion that he had for this product, that it was going to be something that was going to be around for a long, long time, and he was going to continue to make it better. And so I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me and working with me, Bailey, being patient with me with getting this chapter written. And Russell asked me to talk about real estate. In the brick and mortar world, as it was, there's a lot of opportunity in the real estate market for doing a lot of business, helping a lot of people. And I've been doing real estate full time since 2009, and I've worn the realtor hat and the investor's hat. And so I kind of understand a lot about the business. I've been doing it full time since 2009, mostly investing side of things. And I've also been heavy on the just marketing side of things. I love marketing. I love systems. I often say this, that we're not in the real estate investing business. We're in the marketing business. We are marketers first who do real estate, right? We're not real estate realtors and investors that do marketing. We're marketers who do real estate. And that's a really important distinction to make, because without good marketing, without good systems and tools in place, you're going to really, really struggle in this business. And the easiest way, I've never met somebody who struggled in real estate who did consistent marketing, who was consistently putting themselves out there and marketing, whether it's direct to seller marketing or it's doing content marketing or social media marketing. If you're consistent with it and you're doing it day in, day out, you're going to do really well in this business. And leads are the lifeblood of any real estate business, especially real estate. So marketing is everything, and everything is marketing. That's why I've been so attracted to ClickFunnels, the ClickFunnels way of doing things, to what Russell teaches in the books and stuff like that. I've been honored to be friends with Russell for quite a few years now, and to participate in the 30-day book. I even came out with my own book here, REI Secrets. That's where I borrowed that from. So anyway, let's talk about real estate. And I got some slides here I'm gonna share with you. I'm gonna kind of walk through these slides and my Google Doc that I have here. But Russell said, "Hey, listen, can you help us write this book or chapter talking about real estate? How could you get 100 leads if you had to close the door to your business? If you didn't get 100 leads in the next, 30, 60, 90 days, what would you do?" And all you had was a ClickFunnels account. In other words, you didn't have a ton of money to go out and spend on direct mail or flyers, or you didn't have the luxury of putting your mugshot on a billboard. What would you do? And I started thinking really hard about this, because it's an important question that everybody should be asking themselves, whether you're established in the business or you're not. If you're new or experienced, these are important things that everybody should be focused on, especially in the real estate business. So, when I approach this as if I'm going to be helping a realtor or an investor, what should you do? And I like breaking things down into the simple one thing, like what's the one thing that you should be focused on? And I think that finding buyers, focusing on the buyers, is the most important part of all of this. whether I'm trying to be sensitive, and I'm talking to the realtors and I'm talking to the investors as well. I'm talking to mortgage brokers. I'm talking to people in the title industry, the escrow industry, anybody who's in the business of real estate. Who are the customers? Who are our customers, right? They're the ones with the money. And who are the ones with the money? They are the buyers. And I would argue that buyers are our real customers. So many realtors and investors are out there trying to get listings, trying to find sellers, trying to find the property first. And I would tell you, listen, it's a lot easier. If you want to save yourself a lot of hassle and headache and pain and suffering and money, find the buyers. Simple as that. Target the buyers first. There's a great book called The Pumpkin Plan by Mike McCall. And I read that book. And at the time when I read that, I had 5 different businesses. And in my real estate business, I was like doing a ton of different things. And in that book, he really challenged us to focus on your one thing. Who's your main customer? And then forget everything else, cut everything else off, right? And so I started thinking about that deeply, like, who's my customer in this real estate business? It's the buyers, right? It's the buyers. They're the ones with the money. And it's a lot easier to find the buyers. So here's the thing. It's easier to sell somebody what they want than to sell them what you have. Think about that. It's always easier to sell somebody what they want versus what they have. So finding the buyers first is so important. There's this great show that just ended, The Undercover Billionaire, I think is what it was called, right? And it was this guy who owns a mortgage business, one of the biggest in the country. He goes to Erie, Pennsylvania with $500 and a beat-up truck, and that's all he has. And he's got 90 days to build a business that is worth $1 million. And it's a fascinating show. You should go watch it. But one of the first things he did, which I thought was so incredible, he started talking about finding the buyers first. And he went to Craigslist and found people who were looking for big tractor tires. And he went and then found them. And guess what? He found some and he sold them like that. Now, it wasn't easy. He had to work real hard, but that's the point, is to find out what the buyers want. So can you imagine if you had a bowl of spaghetti? It might be like the best spaghetti in the world, right? And you go out in the street and you try to sell it to people. They're going to think you're weird, right? And it's probably going to get really cold before you find somebody who eventually, I'll buy that. And you'll probably sell it for a real ridiculous price. But what if instead you went out on the street and you said, hey, listen, are you hungry? What are you looking for? I'll go get it for you. And you instead took orders. This applies to any business, but especially in real estate. And I think so many people have confused this and got it backwards. They're all out there trying to find the listing, trying to find the seller. But what if instead you went out there and you started finding the buyers first and saying, hey, you're looking for a property? What are you looking for? I can go get that for you. Or I know people who can get that for you. So you see how important this is and how much this is going to help you in your business in so many ways. Okay, so talking to investors here, right? I want to talk real quickly to investors because I want to talk about the importance of getting your real estate license. Obviously, you can't put a buyer and a seller together unless you have your real estate license. Okay, so I want to be clear, some of you guys that aren't in real estate have no idea what I'm talking about, so just tune me out for a second. If you are in the business of real estate, whether you're an investor, especially if you're an investor, if you're brokering deals, you need to get a real estate license for that. So I'm not talking to people and telling people to put buyers and sellers together without a license. I'm not talking about that. So you need to focus on, in the business of real estate, you need to get your license. So I recommend to everybody, I have my license, and I recommend that you get yours as well. Even if you're doing the real estate stuff, even if you're doing what's called wholesaling or quick flipping, or you're doing creative deals like owner financing or lease options, or you're doing traditional listings and all of that, like, there's always been this kind of historic conflict between the realtors and investors, and I think we should put an end to that. I think we should work together because investors need realtors and realtors need investors, and we need to work together. So that was kind of my whole approach coming into this chapter, was focused on, all right, what's the easiest way to make money in this business? It's to find the buyers first and then go find what they want and bring it to them. That makes sense? The buyers are our real customers. They have the money, right? And what's the golden rule? He who has the gold makes the rules. I mean, honestly, right? Kind of like, obviously the golden rule is do to others what you would have them do to you. But if our customers are the buyers, let's just keep it easy. There's a lot less competition for these buyers as well. In the investing side and the realtor side, everyone's trying to get the listings. Everyone's trying to find the sellers, trying to find these deeply discounted deals or whatever. But very few people are going after the buyers first. And in the realtor industry, it's always kind of like that's where the beginners go. That's what the rookies do. You go do open houses so you can find buyers. The professional top producers, they're focused on the big whales. They're focused on the big listings, or getting as many listings as they can. I know so many realtors. They're undercover. They're not the ones that you see at the big top producers, but they're killing it, and they're just focused on the buyers. Okay, they're just focused on the buyers, and they're the ones that you'll never hear of, but they're the ones that have the easiest time making the most money. All right, that's my opinion. This works in any market too, right? Whether you're in a hot market or slow market or in a small market, a big market, hot, cold, warm, it doesn't matter. It works in any market. But I would say, especially now as we're recording this, the market's probably come to a peak. Maybe it's slowing down. It's plateauing. I know it's local. Every market is different. But, this huge sustaining, this huge growth that we've seen over the last, since 2011 or so 8 or 9 years, 10 years, it's not sustainable. It can't keep on going up forever. So things are slowing down. So I'm telling you, as markets start slowing down and leveling off, maybe coming down, this is even more important because as we transition from a seller's market to a buyer's market, if you know how to find the buyers, it's a lot easier to make money and do deals. All right. So let me talk about investor buyers. Why should you, even as a realtor, focus on the investor buyers? And if you are an investor and you want to make quick cash wholesaling properties or whatever, find the buyers, investor buyers. This hit home to me really well in 2012, 2013. I started seeing a lot of money coming back into the market in St. Louis. And I was doing a ton of marketing for sellers, right? We're doing a lot of direct mail, and we were getting decent response rates, but I was always frustrated that it was so hard. And I had an acquisitions manager, and we were trying to buy properties, but it just became difficult. And so I started looking at these buyers that were coming in, and I noticed that these big hedge funds, when they were coming into town, all the deals were going to them because they were coming in saying, hey, we've got a bunch of money, bring us your deals, right? And so I started changing my marketing, and I stopped marketing for sellers, and I started marketing for buyers. And I started finding buyers with a lot of money. And then I turned around and I started telling all the other investors out there, like, hey, I got $1 million burning a hole in my pocket right now. Bring me your deals. And we started, because we now were kind of the hedge fund, even though we kind of weren't. We didn't have the money. We had the buyers who had the money. Excuse me. We started getting a ton of people bringing us their deals. And we had people bringing us their deals that were happy just to get like $1,000 out of it, where they just wanted to help their clients sell their property or whatever. But we just found it was so much easier now to have the buyers first, find out what they want, and then go get them that inventory. And, I did this. I had my license. I had an assistant who was licensed. So anyway, investor buyers are really easy to find. They're easy to target online and offline. You can get them from public records. You can get them. They're easy to find online marketing and stuff like that. They have access to a lot of cash. And here's the cool thing. They buy multiple properties. Your regular normal retail buyer only buys one every 10 years or something, right? Investor buyers, whether they have cash or whether they have access to money, they're easy to find, and they can buy multiple properties. And so we had buyers. There might have been a group of dentists out in California that played golf every week, and they pooled their money together, and they pulled together $1 million, and with leverage and financing or whatever, they can buy $5 million worth of inventory. And we started marketing. We started sending direct mail to buyers that were already buying properties outside of their state in other states. We started sending letters to them and saying, hey, we're the premier real estate investing company in St. Louis. If you're looking for deals, we've got them here. Give us a call. And I'll talk about that more in a minute. And so the other cool thing about investor buyers is they're not as picky as retail buyers. I mean, you know what it's like to drive a picky buyer all over town, showing them 12, 15, 20 different homes, and then only have them say, we need to think about it, or the financing fell through, or, you don't have to deal with picky buyers anymore when you're dealing with investor buyers. A lot of times investor buyers are more educated than retail buyers. And again, you don't have to drive them all around town. So important points in all this, when you're doing the marketing, and we'll talk about what actually it is that you're going to be doing to find these investor buyers. But it's important to understand a couple of things here. Number one, it's important for focus. Focus on one thing. It's important to niche down. The riches are in the niches, as they say. You need to be the local expert. You need to be the local authority. It's important to not be the guy or the girl that is the Midwest investing expert, but you need to be like, not just even down to the city, but into the neighborhood, into the type of properties. What kind of investor buyers are you trying to serve? The ones that are looking for fix and flips, the ones that are looking for buy and hold. What is it that you were looking for? The other thing that's really important for understand as we go through this is you need to be accessible. You need to answer the phone. ClickFunnels is awesome. You can put people through these elaborate funnels and upsells and downsells and one click, things like that. But when it comes to real estate, the money is made on the phone, right? The money is made on the phone. And so if you want to do a lot of real estate, either you or somebody on your team needs to be accessible. You need to answer the phone. I mean, we all know how frustrating it is when you call a realtor or a sign in front of a yard, or even the We Buy Houses signs that you see out in neighborhoods. When you call them and they don't answer the phone, they don't return your phone calls, it's just frustrating. And unfortunately, realtors, property managers, leasing agents, investors, all of y'all, okay, you're horrible at answering your phones and returning phone calls. And if anything you get out of this, if you want to stand out and make a lot of money in real estate, answer the phone. Answer the phone and call people back. I can't tell you how many deals that we've done from when the buyer or the seller, they told us, the investors, even the private lenders and things like that, they say, like, you're the only guys who answer your phone. I get tons of mail. You're the only ones that follow up. You're the only ones that answer the phone. And if you don't answer, you call us back within a few minutes. And that's how it works. Okay. So it's a people business. It would be nice if we could put everybody through a funnel front to back and they all of a sudden buy a house or they list a house or whatever. But it doesn't work like that in the real estate world. It'll always be a people business. They need to talk to somebody, somewhere, somehow. So all of the funnels that we build in ClickFunnels for the real estate side of things is to get people on the phone, to either have them give you their phone number or you call them and you give them your phone number. Does that make sense? So all of this points to getting on the phone. So our funnels are really simple. It's a lead magnet to a thank you page that says, hey, thanks. Give us your phone number. We'll call you. We'll send you this extra special bonus thing. Or you can call us and text us right now and we'll give you this thing. So we'll talk about that. And another important thing to think about here is don't think that your market is different or unique. I hear this all the time with my podcast. I'm in masterminds. I travel a lot. I have clients all over the country. And I hear this everywhere I go. My market's different. This is more competitive. It's not like, not like where you are. Our market's too small. It's too big. It's too expensive. It's too competitive. I had one time 2 clients in the same city. One of them called and was complaining, I can find tons of buyers, but I can't find any sellers. Okay. The other guy the next day called and said, I can find tons of sellers. I can't find any buyers. This doesn't work. I'm frustrated. I couldn't believe, I put those two together, obviously, right? I said, you guys need to talk. So don't think that your market is different or unique. I've heard this in hot markets and cold markets and flat markets. Everybody always finds something to complain about. Your mentality, your mindset is everything. You need to say, you know what, I can do this. I can make it happen. And every market has demand. You need to find where that demand is. What are people looking for? And you need to get out there and get it for them. All right. The other thing I want to talk about here is coming up with a plan and executing it. This is important as we go through this and as you're reading this book, you're getting tons and tons of like really awesome plans. And you're thinking, well, what can I do? Here's the thing. Done is the new perfect. Don't ever think that you're going to come up with the perfect plan and then you'll execute it. And then you'll start doing it after it gets perfect, after you've looked at all the different options, after you've got all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed, and you've got it figured out. I'm an engineer by background. I have a civil engineering degree, and I loved engineering because like In math, in all your calculus classes, there was one problem and one solution and one way to get to that solution, right? And it was the same for everybody. When you're looking at a big stack of drawings of a building or a power plant or something, you're looking at it like, okay, this is how we do it. We do the foundations. You go to the next page, you see the structure. Go to the next page, you see like all the way from beginning to end, you can see the whole thing. Real estate is different, okay? Every deal is different. Every buyer is different. Every seller is different. So you have to be more open and flexible, and which means you can't have the perfect plan. You can't have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You can't. If you wait till you understand steps 7 and 8 before you start implementing steps 1 and 2, you'll never get started. So be okay with not having a perfect plan. Be okay with not understanding everything. Just start with steps 1 and 2, okay? And then execute it. One of my favorite quotes is by General Patton. He says, "A good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed next week." Super important, especially in war, because everything changes and it never goes according to plan. So a good plan, if it's good enough, let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's execute it now, violently, right? Done is the new perfect. You got a plan, good, go for it. And I'm going to help you come up with a plan, hopefully, in this thing, right? So a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed next week. The other key to this is consistency. When you come up with this plan, you need to focus on things you can control. You can't control that you're going to make $20,000 a month. You can't control that that you need to talk to 30 sellers or 30 buyers before you do a deal. You can't control that on average it's going to cost you $1,000 in marketing to do one deal or whatever. But what you can control is what you're doing every day. So I like to work backwards. So you figure I want to make 20 grand a month, All right, so that's 4 deals, okay, or 4 listings or whatever you want to call it. Well, how many leads on average do you need to get those 4? Let's say it's 30. So 30 times 4 is 120. All right. So how many leads do I need then a month? 120. How many leads do I need a week? 30. So I'm going to hopefully get this right. How many leads do I need a day? Let's just say it's 5 leads a day. All right. So how do I get 5 leads a day? I'm breaking now my plan into daily activities, things I can control. These are lead generation activities. And it should just be 1 or 2 things every single day that you do, and you eliminate everything else. So as you come up with this plan, it's like, okay, I need to talk to 5 buyers a day, or I need to talk to 5 sellers a day, whatever it is. How am I going to do that? Well, it could be you do 2 hours of cold calling every day, or you have to call 100 people every day. You have to send 30 letters a day. You have to do 1 podcast and 1 video every day. And that's all you focus on. Whatever it is, eliminate everything else. Just that's what you can control. That's your plan. You're not planning 4 deals a month. But what you are planning is every day, what is it? 20 letters a day, 1 podcast a day, 1 video a day, 1 blog post a day, 1 email a day, 5 phone calls a day, 20 cold calls a day, whatever it is. You just have to focus relentlessly, violently on those daily activities and make sure you do them every single day consistently over time. And that's where the power of this, all this happens. And the consistency also with your follow-up. So you need to be following up with the people that you talk to. All right. So I'm going to jump to my Google Doc here and talk about like, what is it that your buyers want? If you're going to build a lead funnel in ClickFunnels, you got to think about what your buyers want. And in the chapter, I kind of gave you some ideas of things you can think about. What are buyers looking for? They're looking for profitable deals at great bargain prices. They're looking for speed and convenience. I like to look at like increase cash flow, decrease overwhelm. They want money without the hassle. They want to make a lot of money without the suck. So think about this. How could you help them make more money with less overwhelm, less things they have to worry about? They're looking for ways to save money. They're looking for properties that don't need a lot of work. And maybe they're looking for properties that need a lot of work. You got to know that out. They don't want to go around looking at 1,000 different properties. They want someone to do the legwork and the research for them. They want a boots on the ground person that's looking out for their interests. They want connections. They want resources. They want your Rolodex, right? They want first dibs on the best properties. They want someone who will patiently take the time to explain everything to them in simple terms. So whatever it is that you can figure out and think about, and sometimes you're only going to know by talking to them, find out what they want and write it down. And that's going to help you come up with your lead magnet. So I'm sure leadfunnels.com should still be up by the time you're watching this or reading this. Like Leadfunnels.com is one of the best things I think that Russell has ever come out with. It's really, really amazing. Like that's marketing 101 right there. But it's also the most important thing that you should be looking at. Hold on one second. I'm going to take these off here. Okay, that's the most important thing you should be thinking about is the how to get leads in. And you don't want to, I think Frank Kern coined this, you don't want to use minnow bait for catching whales, right? Like you want to get the whales that got a lot of money, they're looking to buy a lot of deals or looking to buy a big house or whatever, right? You don't want to use little minnow bait to try to attract you want to get whale bait, right? And so that starts with knowing what they want. And what do they want? Well, here are some ideas. What if it's a free report how to buy your next investment property in city and save thousands of dollars? And again, we're talking about niches, right? Free report where the best rental properties are in the city. That will give you the highest profits, the best tenants, the least hassles, right? How to buy your next St. Louis rehab or rental with zero money down without using any of your own money or credit. There's a term that's popular right now in the real estate world, the BRRRR strategy, right? BRRR. Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat, okay? So that's something that people are searching for and studying and interested in now. So what if you created a report on like how to buy properties and then refinance them so you get all your money back so you can do it again? How about this? The top 10 biggest mistakes that investors make in St. Louis or in Des Moines, Iowa, or Fargo, South Dakota, or North Dakota. I don't know. It's far like your niched area, right? See, think about this. If you're doing a YouTube channel or a podcast, and if it's about real estate investing, yeah, that's great. You'll get, you might get a big audience slowly, eventually over time. Or what if it's a podcast or a video channel about real estate in Phoenix, Arizona, or real estate in Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? And it's not just about real estate. It's about investment real estate. It's about luxury real estate. It's about rentals. It's so like something niche down like that. People are afraid of like having too small of an audience, but no, you want a small niche audience. Do you think if somebody lives in Albuquerque or is looking for properties to buy properties in Albuquerque and they find your podcast, do you think they're going to rather listen to Joe McCall's Real Estate Investing Mastery podcast or Jane Smith's How to Buy Rehab Properties and Not Lose Your Shirt podcast in Albuquerque, New Mexico? You know what I'm saying? So you may have a smaller audience, but your audience is going to be much more focused and interested in you and what you have to sell and how you can help them. They're going to trust and like you more. They're going to listen to every single one of your podcasts before they listen to the big national guy and his podcast, all right? Another thing like, this is a little controversial, right? The top 5 worst St. Louis zip codes to buy investment properties in. Now that might get you in trouble. I don't know. But like what you could do is you could just go into property records and see where the most of the evictions happening, right? And figure out like, okay, well, these are the zip codes where most of the evictions are. And do something like that. I've not done that, but if any of you guys do something like that, let me know how that goes. I don't know if that gets you in trouble with fair housing. But it's, you're just reporting the facts. People do it all the time. What neighborhoods have the highest crime rates, right? So you could do that in your free report, like what neighborhoods have the highest crime, which neighborhoods have the most evictions, which neighborhoods have the most declining prices, the lowest rent rates, the lowest return on investments, ROIs. So talk about that, right? People want to know, well, which zip codes should I avoid, right? Okay. How about the free calculator shows you how much cash flow you will make or lose on your next investment property in Des Moines, Iowa. Discover the top zip codes. I talked about that with the most evictions. Discover the top zip codes that give investors the highest ROI. All right. And the zip codes that will give you the worst ones. Free rehab estimators. There's tons of really good calculators. And I talk about this in the chapter that you could use, that you could give away for free. And it's really just referring them to another website that has these calculators that can show them rehab estimates and return on investments and things like that. And then how about this one? Free top secret, spying your competition. Find out what your competition is doing today. Free spreadsheet reveals exactly what investors are buying in Des Moines, Iowa, and for how much. So it's, again, through public records, you can get this stuff and put together reports on what investors are buying and where are they buying from, what zip codes are they buying in, what's the average price per square foot that they're buying, what number of bedrooms are they buying, and for how much. Do you understand? So you come up with this cool lead magnet. It's really simple, okay? On the thank you page, now that they've downloaded that thing, how do you get their phone number? How do you get their phone number, and how do you get them to call you? This is the real simple power in this. This is important. Again, you got to get their phone number, right? And so here's some ideas real quickly that you can do on that thank you page, all right? Hey, thanks for downloading the report. If you'd like me to text you a list of my favorite people that can help you do whatever it is that they want, text me or call me at this number, or put your number here and I'll text it out to you. Hey, if you want to be the first to be notified of when I find smoking hot deals in Albuquerque, New Mexico, give me your phone number here and let's talk, or call me or text me here. Again, you got to be accessible. The money is made on the phone, right? So what I'm talking about, like in terms of like a list of my favorite, are what are the resources that these people need in these markets? So they need mortgage brokers that work with investors, or that work with people that have a lot of properties, or work with people with challenged credit, or work with people who have maybe not enough down payment, right? They're looking for local banks that have low down payment plans or easy qualifying credit programs, especially for investors, right? Sometimes it's easier to get financing on your investment deals than when you're dealing with small local banks than with the big national banks, right? Hey, pre-vetted property managers. Everybody's looking for good property managers. What if you had a relationship with 3 different property managers that you could give to anybody who is looking to buy properties in your area? How about local tenant screening companies that will help them avoid, and anything that you're giving them, you got to ask why. Why would they want this? What's it going to help them do? How's it going to make their life better? How is it going to increase their cash flow, decrease their overwhelm? Be thinking about these things when you're offering your lead magnets or trying to get them on the phone. How can you help them make more money and have less headache? Okay. Most reliable contractors, handymen, cleaning companies, service contractors, inspectors, that are willing and ready to work for you and help you save a ton of money. Local down payment assistance programs, local private lenders that you can help them with for their next deals and things like that. You have a lot of knowledge up here in this market, and there's a lot of investors that outside of your market looking to buy properties in your area, and you can help them by being their boots on the ground, their local expert. Does that make sense? So you got to test this thing, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, how do you find these buyers? I'm going to talk about this real quick. There's 4 kind of main ways that I like to find these buyers. Number 1, call existing landlords. There's a lot of landlords. It's easy to get their phone numbers. I talk about this in the chapter. You can get their phone numbers. You can call them. Say, hey, are you looking for more deals? All right. You can also ask them, do you have any deals that you'd like to sell? This is so important. When you're on the phone with people, you need to ask them 2 questions, maybe 2 or 3. The first one is, are you looking to buy more deals? Second one is, well, do you have any deals you're looking to sell? All right. And the third one is, are you looking to invest some money somewhere, right? Because now you can find investors that are just looking to park money. You can find investors that are looking to buy some deals. You can look for some investors who have some deals to sell. Because as you start talking to more and more people, guess what's going to happen? You're going to find someone over here who's got a property they want to sell, someone over here who's got a property they want to buy, someone over here that has money to lend, someone over here that's looking to borrow some money. And you can make money by putting them together. All right. Now, the second favorite way. So first is, again, get on the phone and call. You can find these people. You can skip trace them super easily. You can call them. Go to the property management companies, knock on the door, bring them a dozen donuts and say, hey, how's it going? I'm a new realtor in the area. I'm an investor in the area, and I'm looking for some more business. Do you have anybody that's looking for a house to sell? Do you have any clients that are looking for houses to buy? And just start networking. And I talk about this, flapping your lip. It's the flap your lips method. All right. So my second favorite way, and I've been doing this since 2011 when I created my podcast, produce daily marketing content. This is huge. And this doesn't have to be that complicated or sophisticated and fancy, right? I have a fancy Heil microphone here, but you don't need that. All you need is a cell phone, right? And all you need is maybe a microphone and a headset like this, right? I don't have my other thing that I use normally, but a lapel mic, or whatever. That's all you need. You don't need fancy technical equipment, okay? And what I'm talking about is every day do a video Maybe you walking through a property or talking about a neighborhood. There's a lot of properties on the MLS that might be good investment properties, right? What if you just every day pick a new property, walk through it, and I give some real good examples of free reports that you can give to people that are looking for properties like that, right? Say, hey, look at this property. This is the neighborhood. If you're looking for more deals like this, or if you're interested in this, come call me right now, or go to my website and download my free report that will show you X, Y, and Z. All right. So then it's podcast. But all of your content, it's local, niched. All right. Yeah, that's super important. And there's so many good resources out there for once you record this content, how to produce it and get it out there. So I would focus on short little 5 to 10 minute videos every day and local investing podcasts, at least 3 times a week. And there's you think, well, what on earth, what would I talk about? How can I do that? I give some things in the chapter that are super easy to think about. Like, what if you just interviewed local property managers, realtors, other title companies, mortgage brokers, banks, insurance agents, contractors, inspectors, real estate attorneys, other landlords who own rental properties in your local market, home builders, developers, real estate club leaders, city officials, housing experts, So there's just doing interviews of local people where you go to their office maybe and you set up your phone with a microphone attached to it or something, and you just interview them, or you record them on the phone and talk to them. It's really, really easy to come up with content. What else could you do to find content? Well, you could read the local newspapers, find out what's going on in the business happening locally in your market. Google News, just go to Google News and do a search for Des Moines real estate, and you'll find stories about the local real estate market. See what other realtors and investors are talking about on YouTube. Look at the comments in their videos. What are the headlines? What are the suggested videos that are popping up? Those are all things you can talk about. There's some really good online forums like Bigger Pockets, which is huge. If you haven't been there, you need to go there. Find out what people are asking. What are the hot trending things? You could go in there and do a search for Austin real estate or Austin and find what everybody's talking about in Austin on biggerpockets.com. What are the hot topics? What are the threads? The big questions that people are asking. One of my favorite sources for content is books on Amazon. If you look up real estate books on Amazon, you can see the table of contents for free right there, and that can give you great ideas. One of my favorite ideas, again, is like I talked about, is the deal of the day segments, right? And this doesn't have to be maybe every day, but a couple, 3 times a week. What if you did videos and podcasts talking about these local deals that are coming up that you can find? Talk about the area, the neighborhood, the schools, the businesses that are there, the pros and the cons, right? Talk about the numbers a little bit without promising anything, but like, what are the rents in the area? What are the average values? I give you some really good resources in here. In the chapter, if you go to these websites, I don't get any affiliate commissions from them at all. There's no opt-ins required to view these things. The other final thing I'll say here is important when you're looking for buyers is to participate in the local investor groups. You can tell everybody that you're a deal finder, you find great deals. It's just all about networking and flapping your lips. And then the final thing too, actually, I'll say this final thing one final time. The follow-up is important. 90% of your business is going to come from the follow-up. And this is a powerful thing with ClickFunnels. You can set up automated follow-up funnels inside the system, right? So you can set it up where you send them daily emails. And I did say daily, unless you hate money, right? Like, it's okay to send emails every day. But in there, you need to have really valuable content, right? Tips, resources, deals that you're looking at. What's going on in the market? Talk about the things in the news that's going on, right? So make sure every single email you do, every single podcast that you do, every single video you do, this is really important. I hope you understand. They have to have a clear call to action. It's a clear call to action to visit your website again, to give you a phone number, to reply to the email with their phone number so you can call them and talk to them, to text you something. So you've got to have a clear call to action in every piece of content that you do, okay? And then in your emails, talk about the content you just did. Don't think that everybody is reading all your emails and watching all your podcasts and listening to and watching all your videos. Don't think that. Like, you need to remind people in your emails, hey, go check out this podcast I just did. And in your podcast, talk about, hey, I go see this video I just did over here. In your emails, go. So always be don't think that everybody sees your stuff and is getting sick and tired of listening to you. People are not paying attention to you every single day. They're not reading every email you send out. They're not listening to every podcast you do. So you need to remind them of these things, and don't worry about talking about things over and over and over and over again, okay? You have to do that. Find out what your people want and give it to them. And if you've not used the 9-word email yet in your marketing, it's amazing. Hey, like send an email once a week. Hey, are you still looking for properties in the Albuquerque area? Have you found an investment property yet in Bakersfield? I have a hot pre-foreclosure investment property in XYZ city. You wouldn't be interested in it, would you? Do you want a free list of all the local foreclosures in this city? Now, when you send these emails out, be ready for a response. And when you don't get into an email exchange back and forth, try to get their phone number, get them on the phone, and talk to them. You can, in the follow-up funnels, again, you can set all of this up in the follow-up funnels inside of ClickFunnels, right? Text messages, voicemails. Make sure you're contacting people in Facebook Messenger and LinkedIn. And I love personalized videos. There's a really good app that I use a lot called Bonjoro. And you can set this up when anybody does a opt-ins to one of your forms. You can set it up where it notifies you in Bonjoro. And you can go to the app, Bonjoro, Bonjoro. And you get alert. Say, hey, somebody just opted in. And you could then just click a button, send them a video from your phone, okay? And then click send, and it'll send them that personalized video for you. So, hey, John, I see you just visited my website. You downloaded my report. I hope you get a lot out of it. And if there's anything I can do to help you, just let me know, and I appreciate it, right? It's personalized videos, and then you can follow up with them again. BombBomb does kind of the same thing. Bonjoro I kind of like a little better. So that there you have it. I probably went through that really fast. I hope I made coherent sense going through this. But if you want 100 leads in the next, 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is, it's not that hard. Okay, it's just being consistent with the basic things, right? I call it being brilliant at the basics. If you're brilliant at the basics and you're doing all that basic stuff really well, you're going to crush it. You're going to do really, really well in this business. And so that's it.